power, and then steam power like I mentioned, and then biomass also. So this is how we get some of this. Because of our time, we won't go to the detail because there are other people who will still expand more on them. Now, like I said, we can't do renewable energy outside of sustainability. The question then is, even this sustainability we are talking about, what is it? It is ability of this present generation, your ability, sir, for your generation to meet your own need without necessarily compromising the ability of our young one, our kekere. We want to meet our own needs too. But you have met your own need. Some other people will not be able to rise, even in academic, in institution. That's what, can that be sustainable? Of course, no. And then, I don't want to go politics. There was a time we have a leader, we have for oil or fuel or whatever below there. The one that they have exploited, they finished selling it. I don't justify whether it should go or not. The how and the impact is what people can hide you. You can't argue that it will not go because otherwise, when will I get something to rule? I'll be the vice chancellor. And even as a young guy, sir, I was the president of my association. There was a strike. The people who are before me, they have collected their money, they finished it. But because of strike, vice chancellor is strike again. And so the one that I was supposed to use as president, I know what I'm saying. The one that was supposed to use as president of our student association, those ones also collected it and they spent it. Then ASUU resumed strike, and I have nothing to spend. If some of you remember the late Femi Esuroso, Agege, Makadola, G.A., Kola Baba, I was just going to Lagos to catch us for money before I could be able. So I now made sure I didn't make mistake. I made sure when I was going, must start to work on more. That is leadership. That is sustainability. And that's what they are talking about. So sustainability is all about saying meeting the need of this present generation without compromising the ability of the future generation to meet their own need. We cannot continue using current levels of resources, and this will not leave enough for the future generation. How does it relate to what we are saying? They now broke it down, the United Nations broke it down into 17 sustainable development goals. And you see, which of these, SDG 7 talks about what we are talking about. We call it avoidable and clean energy. That's renewable energy. People say, how will you say go when there is no energy? How do we have good health? How do we have quality education, refugee corps? Even the gender issue, even water, and then innovation, and all of that, and all of that. So all these other 16, they move around SDG 7, and that's what we are talking about. What then is that SDG 7? It's talking about affordable and clean energy. And what's the objective or the goal? It's saying that we should have access to affordable, one, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy for all. Do we have it? Are we there? Yes. But we are no longer where we used to be. It's getting better. A lot of us, even in our individual homes, we generate our electricity. In fact, we are a government in our individual. Apart from showing, apart from no money, you get it now. I'm a local government on my own. So that is what we are saying. That when it comes to renewable energy, is it clean enough? That is what SDG 7 is saying. And so when I was at LAMA to show it also, we put a research group together and we did all the four. You see, why I'm putting all of these pictures is that to know that we are not just talking it, we are walking the talk. In our little one, are generating now, but at least the basic, once you understand the basic, you can always scale it up. The young one, are you hearing me? Once you understand the basic, correct your job, you can always do it. I think that will impact what I just see, I think by that father, so that you can also sustain yourself. Our vice chancellor, was what we currently. When I'm able personality from Valentine, and so I just have to support him. And we started another set, different from what we did in Landmark. Landmark is a private university. And but the election of fact, and without any help, it has to go through a process. So I'm saying that but at least the little that we have done, the students are understanding them. So that is a banner in my office. We have a big area that I did for exhibition. So maybe the Grass Science Foundation will visit me one of these days. They will take the job and encourage, so that you encourage the young one. And so I want to ask this question before I go on. I've mentioned 17, and in this day and time, I know people can just go online and look for the 17. Especially for the younger one, I'm asking you, which of these sustainable development goals are you committing to? As for me and my house, we are committing to SDG 492. In other words, I have a code. You can have your code in SDG. When I'm going to Funabo now, once I hear 492, that's my code. Some other people code will be 419. And yes now, because 4 is public education. Mechanization. So I have my own code. So our elders to be can the code we anything, what are your code? Before you leave this hall, you should be able to have your code. If it was supposed to be a Zoom presentation, I will ask you to go to the chat box and begin to type. We did it in Canada. Canada said to me, to the glory of God, they said SDG was just a lie in whatever they are presenting, just a single word, a single sentence in the SDG. But by the time we took SDG to them, imagine our Latin SDG padders, for them to understand better. And so they thought their young one will not understand. The first thing is, they all cut out on carbon dioxide, by extension, carbon monoxide. But the way they do it is different. That is what we call, but the trade-off differ. Let's look at solar. What is the impact? We're talking of zero emission, while generating about 1 megawatt hour of solar. That's about 0.4 to 0.5 tons of carbon dioxide avoided when we compare it with our traditional coal that we generate like Enugu, the coal from Enugu. So they are saying that one of the impacts is that it takes emission away. What is the upside? In other words, what is the pros? It is modular, compact, you know that now. And then it is also work from the rooftop to desert. It cost drop about 85% since 2010. Because the more people, the merrier. When more people are patronizing, they drop it. It's like our phone too. They'll be looking for internet all over. But before you know it, the price came down, it crashed. So what is the downside? We have what is called intermittent. And all of that. And then you need daylight. The land use is higher when you compare it with wind. And then we talk of panel manufacturing. I know Ogun State is trying to strike a work plan with some other industry. And so those are the negative side of solar. Very quickly, wind, whether it is onshore or offshore, it has lowest life cycle of emission of all sources, like 11 gram carbon dioxide per kilowatt hour. When you compare it to 820 gram, we are talking of impact. Impact starts with the negative effect. And so what are the pros, the upside? The huge capacity factors in offshore pair well with solar. When you compare them with solar, it's still almost the same cost. Wind often blows at night. So if wind blows at night and sun comes in the day, so when you compare the two, where there is good wind, then it means you can have your 24/7 life. Then the downside is also the issue of intermittent board part and all of that. Of course, we are going to take case study of Abeokuta because you can not be thinking of wind in this part of the world. Then very quickly, hydropower. We also look at the impact because of our time, those are the upside and downside, so that we just go to the practical aspect. The same thing with biomass and bioenergy. This PowerPoint presentation has been sent to the organizers, and so people that want it can be sent to them, so that we don't waste the time of our elders here. The issue of geothermal is also there. Now, and then there is another one called the tidal wave. Lagos is good for that, but we are not into that yet. Until Jesola, until Jenwin, the debut program, we can't be talking tidal now. So, what is the big picture? Especially when we talk about climate. Renewable energy cut about 2.5 billion tons of carbon dioxide per year. And imagine without renewable energy. That's why we are putting figures there. These are latest figures. They yield about 70% of global emission avoided. And also, even in the economy that the chairman of the occasion mentioned, cheapest new electricity now is solar plus wind. And then look at what they are saving in terms of dollar, especially if you now convert it to naira. Then we have the grid challenge. The sun, the wind are variable, so we need batteries, hydro, demand response, and better transmission to balance them. We have heard of grids falling and all of that. At the advent of this administration in 2023, the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu signed into law the new electricity bond that allow even some individuals to generate their own electricity. Some states, of course, they have to put some conditions. Otherwise, common law didn't come in, so that they won't be talking of generating, and the next thing we are hearing is neutral. They won't be talking of bomb and all of that all over the place. So we have that. And then, let's look at Ogun State as a case study. Then we talk of, and then we take them one after the other. Let's look at solar. And we are told that solar is a big driver. Here we have today OOPL, Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library. Somebody said the other time, so we want the solar. Yes, they have solar. They have 2 megawatts plant, ASAT. So maybe our information, maybe they are even upgraded it. And so that is one good area where we want to know whether we want to take children for exposure to see about the issue of renewable energy, solar. Hey, God help me, fast. So our own FUNAP also has what is called the 3 megawatt hybrid. That's 3 megawatt solar plus 2 megawatt battery system. In some 5 years, some 5 years before now, some of us used to have our I better pass my neighbor in all of our offices. With solar now, I can buy the Rano Sugani. But the first thing we tell you is sustainability. You see, it's all about maintenance and all of that. But just to say that, as far as FUNAP is concerned, we don't have challenge of life. Of course, we still have the one that is coming from and all of that. So FUNAP is also benefiting from that. Very quickly, I'm an engineer, opposite us here is working. Especially when you consider that Ogun State gets 6 hours daily sunlight. So Ogun State is good, it's an idea for solar. Then the state plan, the government has signed in for 1,100 megawatt solar panel and all of that. My time is running out. Impact, cut diesel, cut whatever. Let's run and try to conclude. Wind, they have their own too. And then hydropower, we took them one by one to see what is happening. But look at this. The federal government is building new 480 megawatt Abeokuta substation under Presidential Power Initiative. Additional Larika, something is going on. Ogun State also run on 34 megawatt, 4 megawatt gas, IPP, whatever for 24 hours. Storage is still small, but we are improving. We are no longer where we are. Nigeria solar imports, look at that, each 125.3 billion naira. In the first quarter of 2025 alone. As of today, Nigeria can now sell excess solar power back to the grid. Or on this week, last year, this week, or on this week, now that's the body regulating electricity in Nigeria. And they have flagged off net billing, what is going to go open for renewable energy export. And so all of that, the bid for Abeokuta and all of that, let's begin to round up. We have the challenge and all of that, and we are saying that the best bet for Abeokuta is solar plus battery. Because the sun here is strong, the land is available, the diesel costs are high, wind makes sense more in the northern part of Nigeria. Distinguished guests and fellow participants, the lens with which we used to look at things, not just in renewable energy, is no longer on a local scale, but on a global scale. It's more than therefore that we never lose value. Finally, it is time for us to think, rethink, and put action to our thoughts in dealing with this monster of inadequate power and the impending danger of blackout and unproductivity. Quote, Baba Budu has done his own, it's gone. Whatever we do today, whatever we are doing right now, we have an accumulated effect on all of our tomorrow. Appreciation. I therefore encourage all of us, just as they are standing by my back, all of us to hone, embrace, and run with renewable energy. Once again, I want to thank you for inviting me, and God bless. I hope with this few point of mine, I'll be able to convince the young one that the renewable energy is it. When I say renewable, you say energy. Renewable. Energy. Thank you very much.
Okay. I hope you are using renewable energy. All right, very quickly, we'll be moving to the...
Which I'm learning from. Actually, I wasn't so close to Baba. Papa, Chief Olatunde Abudu of blessed memory, saying that Baba looked like during his lifetime, looking so young, handsome, portable, attractive. Mommy, I doff my heart for you, and I'm on my knees. I really told you and Baba go. Even now, Baba no there to tọ́jú ẹ̀yẹ wo báwo yín ṣe ń dán. We have a lot to learn from this couple. Try as much as possible. You women, we don't have much of them around. But our Papa also, and you children, the school boys and girls, try to listen attentively. All this Gen Z, old school is much, much better. Old time. Learn from the elders. Even some of you, you can't prostrate, you can't kneel down, and then even some of you stretching your hand to handshake elders. You see, when you respect elders, it's not people around that we appreciate you. Almighty God, we appreciate you. I'm learning. I'm still learning. I'm a young girl. I thank God for it. All I can say about our Papa has impacted life a lot, humanity, the downtrodden, less privileged, marginalized. From what I heard from everyone, it's not story of the real thing Papa did during his lifetime. As you are here also, try and do something they will remember you when the time comes. I pray that gbogbo nǹkan tí Baba ti ṣe sílẹ̀, every one of us are forwarding, we support it to make sure that they are all waxing so strong. Mommy, you have legacy for you, the legacy Papa left behind, enough to be uplifting you, upholding you, strengthening you. Just take the picture of Papa and all these things they are saying about him. Keeping that memory on. Even at times, take your pen and pencil Write some of the good things they are saying about him down. It's enough to be lifting you up. And then children, grandchildren also. Be proud of our papa. It's enough to keep you going. I love hanging around things like this because wherever you go, social interaction, you have a lot to learn from it. It's not just sitting down. Take your piece of paper, pen, any good things you hear, be writing it down. I learned something here that the seed Papa sowed, the timing seed is still germinating. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Ma. Excellency, Chief Mrs. Bola Obasanjo. Really appreciate you for your presence here. Thank you very much. I ask for His Excellency, the Ebora of Umu.
Be brief. Let's give the microphone to the chairman. Yes, the chairperson of this program. She needs to talk about me.
Thank you very much. We just want to let everybody know that there are exhibitions outside by the schools and the higher institutions. We have soil moisture detector by Tidal, renewable energy from nature, that is plant waste and plant products by Shaje High School, portable solar backup power system from Abeokuta Grammar School, smart fire detector, smart street lights, and camera surveillance systems, fingerprints, exam attendance systems, and all outside by Mapuli. Please try to visit their stands before you go. Thank you very much.
We're actually moving at the speed of light. So in the next 30 minutes we'll be done and the event will achieve its purpose. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to invite the resource persons. Yeah, one after the other. All right, Dr. Moses Oyatoku. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our resource person, Dr. Moses Oyatoku.
Please, time me. I'm giving 7 minutes and I will do the job in 7 minutes. But as a matter of introduction, I have 4 slides. All the 4 slides, please, I request that the organizing committee. Students, I'm always for you and I'm always with you as a youth. All other protocols follow. Because if I spend 7 minutes on protocols alone, we won't get anywhere. So everything that I'm going to say this afternoon, I want us to remember it with 3. Everybody say 3. 3. 1, 2, 3. Today we are celebrating Baba Olatunji Abudu Memorial Lecture Series. 1 about Baba is that he was born. 2 about Baba was that he made impact while he is alive. And 3 about Baba is that even after death, we are remembering him. So he has left a legacy. So the question I ask you to be asking yourself is that, what will your own 1, 2, 3 be? Secondly, we are also celebrating this lecture with the theme, Impact of Key Renewable Energy Sources. I want you to look at that picture. It's just a 2 seconds or 3 seconds picture. Can it be on, please? Okay, if it is not coming on yet, it is just a picture of somebody who has a poultry farm and is using the poultry farm to generate energy for his farm, to generate energy for raising fish in his farm, and also to generate the energy from biogas to run his vehicle. 1, 2, 3. He's running his farm with it, he's feeding himself with it, and he's making money from it. So like I said, please just look at it to relax before I continue talking. Oh, voice. Okay. While we are looking at, everybody will have the opportunity of going to look at it in further details. So let me just go on. Remember I said 1, 2, 3. That's the man. He's just showing you part of his digester that was put in his house and in his farm. Lastly, you will see where he is feeding his cow with it. This afternoon, what I intended to do is, please, all the students and the young ones, I brought some materials which outside I will exhibit for you. Mention something: generation, supply, and use. Generation, supply, and use. Still 3 principles. You see, I'm a teacher, so I will teach you in such a way that when you leave OOPL today, you won't forget the lecture about biogas. I promise you. Now, he also mentioned something that energy is all around us, from the sun, from the wind, from the water. So we call all those ones natural energy, and they are all renewable. But I want to tell us something. There are 2 basic scientific principles that we should always remember. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only be transferred from one form to the other. Do we get it? Energy cannot be generated or created or destroyed. You can only transform it from one to another. So, principle of 3 again. How many of us have eaten breakfast this morning? If you have eaten, I want us to remember the lecture. Thank you, Kabiyesi. You remember that, look at your body. Look at your body. You have mouth, which is the main area for input. Say input. Then you have your esophagus and your stomach, which is the area for, say, processes. So say processes. And then you have 2 outlets. 2 outlets, the anus and the urinary area, whereby anything coming out of your body, if it is not through the skin, will come through either those 2 places. Now, if you understand those principles, students, I want you to be thinking, because me, I stimulate people to think, so that when you observe very well and you think very well, you will be an innovator. You will be a researcher. You will be somebody that will bring in out things that we know ordinarily, we use every day, but we are wasting. So one of the things again is waste to wealth and health. Remember, my topic says biogas production in Nigeria, prospects and challenges. Waste to wealth, everybody let's say wealth. That is, you can make money from it. Health and alternative energy production and liquid organic fertilizer production for sustainable environmental care and development. Now, the whole summary of that is that in Abeokuta, in our respective homes, in Nigeria as a whole, we have a very, very bad habit of waste disposal. We are wasting our waste. We are wasting our waste. Biogas production is just from 2 words joined together, biogas. That is any gas that is coming from any living thing, whether dead or alive. Biogas is gas that is coming from any living thing, whether dead or alive. So, we are also affecting our health, because if you walk the streets of Abeokuta, and I'm not insulting us in Abeokuta, I've gone through the whole of Nigeria, and I've also gone through places like Canada and US. You will discover that you will not just see waste in the middle of the market. You will not see waste on the side of the road. So the principle that we must follow, if we want to really generate enough energy that we will be able to use and still have leftover to give to others, is that 1, anything in the right place. So the 3 words I want to remember with respect to that: anything in the right place. For what? Anything in the right place. Am I having lecture students or learners that are following me? I'm still a learner too. In fact, I learned a lot from my brother's lecture. So I want us to follow me, because I think I spent 2 minutes out of the 7 minutes. So it remains 5. Okay, have I? So let's say anything in the right place. Okay, that is the principle of biogas. You will discover that we are using our digestive system as the template to turn it into some mechanical construction and so on. So your input is where you are putting in the waste. And the processing area is an environment that does not have much air in it. We call it anaerobic environment. That is, tẹ́bá wo ikùn wa, tá a bá ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ jẹun yóò tóbi. Tó jẹ́ yẹn tó bá ti ń dà, ikùn ó tún lọlẹ̀ díẹ̀. So it is elastic. So kò sí ibì kankan tí nǹkankan lè fi wọ nǹkan tá à ń jẹ tá a bá ti fi sẹ́nu ju pé either ká yà nígbẹ́ tàbí ká tọ̀ síta lọ. There is no any other outlet for all whatever we eat as food. So the mouth is very, very important. And for quick ones, we use plumbing materials to construct those things. Then when it goes into the mouth and goes into the stomach is actually what we call the digester. And the digester, a lot of things are happening there. You will discover that when you get home, because I give people homework, and if you do your homework well, you will be able to translate what you have learned into making money, living healthier, and sustaining yourself. So let me just quickly run through the slides so that you can get the. Since my time is up, forward. It's digested. Our body takes the part it needs, and then it gives out the ones we don't need as waste. Now, biodegradable waste can be commonly found in municipal solid waste, sometimes called biodegradable municipal waste. It is also called green waste, food waste, paper waste, and biodegradable animal products. Other biodegradable waste include human waste, manure, sewage, and slaughter. Now, because of our time, if I go through the slide one by one like that, let me not make you fear. There are about 150 slides there. So I will just summarize them, and then when you get it, you can go through them one by one, and then remember what I said. Principle 3. Input, process, output. Input, process, output. Climate change impact. You will discover that the way we are throwing our waste everywhere, we are affecting the climate. The way we have removed all our trees, our forests, and we are not planting back trees and forests, we are the people responsible for climate change. So you will see how that comes later. Now, uses of biodegradable waste. You can compost it, you can use it for heat, you can use it for electricity. 3R. Everybody, let's say 3R again. Reuse, reduce, recycle. Reuse, reduce, recycle. Okay, because of time. Methane. When we say biogas, it's producing a lot of gas, but it is the methane that is energy material. Methane, CH4. Okay? Now, and it is called a process of anaerobic digestion. Nigeria is endowed with lots of farm waste, food waste, factory biodegradable waste, and domestic waste. The summary of that is that there is a company in Lagos now, I think around Mile 2. They are just processing fruits. It is all the back of their fruits that they are using to run the energy of the farm to now have their fruit carried. Also, by the time we started this project, University of Nigeria, Nsukka, came to Funab and saw sample of what we tried to demonstrate. And right now, they are generating 100 watts, and they told NEPA that in 3 or 4 years' time, we won't even need you. That is the stage we want all of us to think and get to. The NEPA light will still be helpful, it will still be supporting us, but it is not enough. The NEPA light we are having now, majority of it is being wasted by vandalism. Because the one that is there, I've worked in Kainji before, in the hydro dam area for irrigation and plant. The one that is generated, it is not the one that we are getting every day, because along the line when people cut the cables, okay, so you have generation there. At this end that we need the supply, along the line they cut it off, so it won't reach us. That's why you have constant blackouts. Okay. You have been told the importance of solar. Anyway, let me just run through all of them. Biodigester is just any container that will digest anything, and then the energy you can get from it, you can use it in 3 ways. That one, leave that one for with the scientists. The only thing is maybe you need energy to cook. You need energy to warm your water. You need energy to move about. Okay. All those, you can always look at it. Now, this is just what is happening. For you, those of you who are students, you can use biogas to teach chemistry. This is the simple thing that we are turning into what can be useful to us. When you have C6H12O6, that is just the basic formula for anything carbohydrate. So it will break down into 3CO2 and 3CH4. So the CO2, we don't need it. That's why we, human beings, we breathe out CO2. But plants need it as manufacturing material. So they take it in. CH4, methane, is a gas that can give us energy. And that's why very soon, we want to get to the stage whereby we will be bottling our methane and also be adding it to LNG and CNG to be running our vehicles. We'll be bottling our methane so that we'll be able to have enough energy to cook in the house. Because of time, I will just quickly run through the slide. I won't comment much, and I will do a general comment at the end so that I won't bore you much further. This is an example of somewhere in Germany. They are using the cow dung to have that digester, and so on and so forth. This is the composition of the gas that we call biogas itself too. But what we need as human beings is that we just want something. Now, I want to tell us that the technology that I'm talking to you about now, we learn it from ourselves and from the animals. Look at that, feed is feeding on the grass, isn't it? Then the stomach is processing the feed, and then the malu will defecate and urinate. So the digested will fall to the ground as feces, and the gas will go into the. You defecate, and you gas. When you say you gas, try to see if it smells differently. Wouldn't it? Okay, don't worry. So we are saying that we have a lot to learn. All this, we will have it. Now, this was the first one. Even ordinary production of the gas lamp can be a big business. Ordinary production of the carburetor that we only burn on gas is a very big business, and so on and so forth. So this is just the diagram of a big one, which we have constructed one in Abuja, Gwagwalada Abattoir. You will see the picture here, but because of time, I think I will just run through. So all these are the various ways in which you can do it. Your toilet can be constructed like this. Our Indian friends, they have a lot of this in their country. Right now, our own GP tanks is what we are using to put two together to create the anaerobic environment. But already, let me tell you, discussions are already going on. And some of the industrialists around the area, you can key into it, whereby we will be producing the biodigester in large quantities and in different sizes. And then you can carry it to your farm and so on and so forth. Okay? This is Republic of Benin. Students, this was the very first one. This one was done about 15 years ago. They are telling me that my time is almost up. So, it's almost up. So, I will see this one, you can use it to even run a whole estate. But like I said, go and look at the pictures at home. In conclusion, biogas is something that we are carrying about every day. Biogas is what we ourselves are generating. All our poultry birds in the farm, they are generating biogas. So all we need to do now is put the feces of the animals or of the birds or of yourself, of anybody, in the right place. And the right place is anaerobic digester. And it will not smell to you. It will not cause you any harm. But if you allow all your waste to just be going inside the gutter, block the gutter, and then not degenerate. You will have things like cholera. You will have communicable diseases that will spread fast. So to increase better health, to increase making money, economic activities, and if you come, you see me personally, I will tell you so many things that you can do. Very soon, EGAS Science Foundation, you will help us. We shall let these students be involved in some projects, which if you just fund them, they will do a lot, and they will be the people that will keep the story going. So please, in conclusion, I want to say that biogas is a very good form of energy, and it is useful, it is sustainable, we generate it regularly, so if we use it regularly well, we shall live better and happier. But lastly, I will give you another poster. There is even now the energy we call free energy generation. And if you want to see me for more details, come. It is just using alternator of a car, battery of a car, and your generator. So you will not need any fuel, no any water. It is just the energy that will be running on itself. Because the energy that will keep sustaining itself has a way of arranging magnets into the alternator, and it will give you what you want. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Moses Oyatogi, entrepreneur and of course community developer whose career has evolved from corporate legal practice into business development in sustainability and rural transformation initiative. Today, the principal focus is the development of Augustus.
It is a privilege to participate in this important discussion on the impact of renewable energy sources. As someone who has spent much of his career in the law, business and community development, my perspective definitely is not that of a scientist, engineer, or academic. Rather, it's that of a practitioner who has seen firsthand how access to reliable energy can transform lives and communities. When we speak of renewables, we tend to focus more on the technology, solar panels, batteries, all the things that go with it that our presenters have so eloquently explained to us. These are very important, but I believe that the true impact of renewable energy lies beyond the technology itself. It's about the opportunity it creates. And they've given examples as well. The farmer can irrigate his crops, almost plant year-round, because remember, with climate change, when there's no rain, there's no farming. But with solar power pumps, for example, that problem is solved. Our children, or children in the villages, because that's where I want to really focus on, they can study after sunset. Today, without power, zero. Health centers, primary health care centers, when you go there, there's no power, you can see. If you actually go to rural areas or communities, when we all go back, I know everybody says we're from Abeokuta, but I'm sure a lot of us, even from Abeokuta, will have come or migrated from little villages in the surrounding villages. If you go there and go to any health center, you feel sorry because there's zero power. And even when there's power, and I'll come to that later on, when there's power via solar or whatever it means, there's no maintenance. So we'll come to that, I'll tie it all up. We're talking about the advantages. Schools, community centers, where people can aggregate and get full training, because when you go to villages, like in our villages, we say sometimes one size fits all, which means you can have a hall like this, and you can train the entire village in particular things that relate to everybody, young or old. It could be confidence building, it could be technology, discussion about technology, where the young must learn, the old who haven't learned it can also learn. In Nigeria, actually, renewable energy offers us a unique opportunity to leapfrog the traditional infrastructure challenges and bring development directly to the communities that have been historically underserved. Well, we say underserved, I would say abandoned, because when you travel from here to Ijebu, they go around the back, totally deserted. People live there, but they've been abandoned, not underserved. Underserved means, well, they still have maybe 2 hours, 3 hours of electricity per day. Abandoned means they have 2 hours per week. So I think most of our communities have been abandoned. But that's where we have to go back to, those communities, because let's face it. You talk about food security. Where's that going to come from? From the villages. You talk about urban migration, you talk about crime. Without fixing the villages, you fix nothing. So we've got to go back to basics. We can talk about everything we want in the city, Abeokuta, Ijebu-Ode, Ekpe. We have to go to those villages, those tiny villages. Villages of 200 people, 300 people, the aggregate of which will give us food security. Agoajo is a village that was founded by my father, late Otumba Bola Adewume. It was meant to be an impact village because that's what he wanted to dedicate his life to do. Not to stay in the city, he could have done that also, but I think he just chose to go to the rural community, and he didn't come from the area. This Agoajo is in Iworo town in Badagry. We come from Ijebu-Ode, deep-rooted Ijebus. But he spiritually, I think, I don't know, he just got interested in doing something for the people there. And from one plot to another plot to another plot, he bought enough to become the size of a village. He was a lawyer, so he knew what a village size meant and what he could do to write on behalf of a village. And he felt to impact the community, if I set up a village, and it's a village by law, then I can demand, I can write letters. And when I looked through his files, there was a lot of letters written to the state to support the people, particularly in agriculture, because that area is agrarian. So he set up this village, put infrastructure there. What would he do first? No housing, of course. People are living in mud huts. But people did it. And everybody did it in Nigeria. Therefore, what did they do later on? When we took over in our time, because things have started to change, he had done his best. He had done his very best. And every year, he'll do the same thing over and over again. Create the farms. They sell the things, just enough for those people to feed themselves. He puts more money in. More money in the fish fund, more money going one way, not returning. And I think what we mean by sustainability is that when you put that ₦1 in, at least let ₦1 return. So you can put in another naira and another naira, and then over time, you can be sustained. What would we do in our time? Solar power. It was the first thing. But maybe it was a stumble, because the first thing I did in that place, a beautiful area of Badagry, near the waterside, was build a villa for my own self. But with a swimming pool. Once the pool was there, I never thought of power. Because my father, in all of this, he brought 6 kilometers of power line all the way from Iworo town to this Agoajo. Middle of nowhere, me and mine to Agoajo. But that's what they did in his own frustration, trying to get things going. So I built this villa with a swimming pool. A pool has to run 8 hours a day. It was when I finished building it, I realized, oh my God, there's no power. What am I going to do? And this was 22 years ago or 23 years ago. That's a long time. I quickly rushed and installed solar panels, batteries, inverter. 23 years ago. 23 years ago was when? 2000. I'm not even sure many people were talking about solar in those days. It was very expensive, but because I had the pool, I had to be pumped, I had to put the solar. Then I thought to myself, feeling very foolish, because then you've got this villa with electricity, you've got all your villagers right there with nothing. I thought, ce n'est pas possible. It's not possible. I can't do the same thing as in Lagos, where people are looking from outside inside. No. So I started developing solar panels. And what did this do? I built some greenhouses, vegetable greenhouses, so that I could run them, of course, on drip irrigation. You have the water supply. The first thing we did was water pumps, solar water pumps. First, so that people can pump the water up and fetch in the first instance. Then incrementally, we could pump water to the overhead tank for them to get water through the tap. So that's for the community. And people from the environs would come, because it's zero water. People fetched from the wells. So they'd come, so we're pumping water, and you can see how that energized the people. Then we could use the same water for irrigation. Because to justify the spend on the solar, you then have to expand the business. I wasn't going to be a farmer. I'm not interested in being a farmer. But I've spent all this money on this infrastructure. It's got to be sustained. And sustainability means you add a business to it to make money, to maintain, to to service, to replace and repair. And in those days, all we did was replace. No maintenance, zero. Nobody knew anything about solar power. So we had the greenhouse, then for the fish farm and the fish ponds, dry, water dry, solar pump the water out, fill, we're in profit. Everybody was happy. Everybody energized. People came from outside of the village to farm with us. And everything I'm talking about is pure charity, but not charity of the one way my father was doing. It's charity of you have to return it so that we can invest in other people. Okay, having done all that, who maintains the systems? And that's what I'm talking about, solar or renewable energy or renewables being a catalyst for development, for growth and development. Skills, who maintains these assets? Nobody. So what we've done is set up, which is just going to start now, a renewables energy training center in the village, owned by the farm company that owns the village. So it's an Agwaja initiative, which was set up because my father also left money behind for a foundry. That's why he wanted to go foundry. Now, when we talk about foundry, the power needs of a foundry is phenomenal. And I'm not so sure renewable energy would carry. Those are industrial things where you have to go to industrial estates. And so we have to do something anyway. So I thought, okay, we'll train people in an 80-20% mix, 20% free for people in local communities to learn maintenance, power rating, so you can come to your home, rate the power requirements, propose what you need, install the systems, maintain the system, they're able to disassemble and assemble the system. I'm talking about villagers. I'm not talking about, because I'll give you an example. If you come to Agwaja today and look at the landscape, it is, and who does it? Villagers never saw lawnmower in their lives, never, ever seen lawnmowers in their life, but they're trained. And they're better than the people I had in Lagos, in my home in Lagos. Who services the pool? Local. Because I'll get the people from Lagos to come and train our local people. So all this I'm talking has come from the solar initiative, because without the solar there was no swimming pool, without the swimming pool there was no thinking from me. I'll have just then gone, pump my petrol, enjoy my life, die, and that's the end of it. So for us, we've managed now to create an economy, and I think this can be a template for future development, and I think really we need to go back to the communities. It will not happen in Abeokuta, impossible. I'm even an advocate that let people in the cities pay. Subsidize with solar at rural communities. Then we can have our people move to those local communities, sit down there in your retirement and do some agriculture. We're not going to do agriculture, we're going to be using petrol to pump the water, impossible. So I'm looking at it from a different point of view, and maybe it's something that we'll also discuss, because this is me, I'm a lawyer, trying to do all these things, but I can see experts here who can actually lend themselves to what we're doing. And I thank Chief Abudu, really, because without him, again, I'm not able to come and tell this story. I'm not able to connect with like minds and other people who may just feel, look, I want to give to the community. It doesn't have to be your own community. It wasn't our community. We come from Ijebu-Ode, but it was a community adopted, a community that's now on the map of Nigeria, a community that's got everything going for it, a full economy, a circular economy, as they say. So with these few words, I hope I've done justice. I've left out some things, but that's because there's no slide. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma. Particularly, I want to say good afternoon to the royal fathers in the house, and of course, my guests that have spoken earlier. I want to say good afternoon. So basically, for us, we have had a whole lot, and a lot has been said about renewable energy sources. And before I dig deep, I would like to mention that in Wema Bank we call it clean energy. I think it's synonyms to renewable energy sources. For us, maybe because we're after money, we call it clean energy. That is energy apart from the one we get from hydrocarbons. So we call it clean energy. And in Wema Bank again, there is a department that handles any green energy related facility. So for us, we discovered at a point in time that it has become a way to go for every businesses, for every organization, and that is why Wema Bank came up with that department. And what that department does is to finance various renewable energy sources. Like they have mentioned, all these things about green energy, they are good, but the truth is that you need money to acquire them. And that is why we have come today. We are saying as a bank, we finance a whole lot of everything they have mentioned today. When it comes to making money available to get them, we do it very well at a very, very good interest rate. So the fear, you know, in the discussion, I know many of us will be asking ourselves, when the professor was talking about so many of those equipment, the technology, you know, the simple question is, how do I even acquire them? I don't have enough money to acquire them. But we are saying, as a bank, we are financing green energy equipment, facility, solar installation, hydro waters. We do all of that in Wema Bank. So the idea is this, and basically for business owners, we will discover that, for example, those that rely on generator, if you compare what generator will take out of your business at the end of the month to what a solar system will do, you will definitely go for a solar system. For example, I have a customer in Abeokuta. I don't want to mention that customer. It's a very popular customer. You know, we sat down to do the mathematics. She rely on diesel every day, and we did mathematics, and we realized that taking a loan at this interest rate that Wema Bank is offering and paying over 4 years, by the time we did the mathematics, in fact, the woman was praising me, was appreciating me. Now we have she started using it in February, and she has saved a whole lot through the clean energy financing facility by Wema Bank. And of course, what has also happened to her is that she has now introduced so many customers to us, because we now discover that if I spend 1 million on diesel daily, and I have a repayment, monthly repayment for a loan at 1 million. At 1 million, the same 1 million that I use daily is now what I use as a repayment monthly for a loan. Who will not grab that? Who will not take the advantage of that? So basically, I will just look at the simplest one that we do so easily in Wema Bank. We finance all kind of clean energy sources, renewable sources. But there is a common one that we do just every day. Customer walk in and they get it almost immediately. We call it Green Energy Finance Facility, and that one is basically to finance the purchase of solar panel, solar system, and inverter. So that one is basically, it's just direct. It's just for everybody. We have salary earners, we have small businesses. They come on a daily basis to get it. For that one, the minimum loan amount is 500,000, while the maximum loan amount is 50 million. So it means that on this particular product, you can get as much as 50 million as a loan to acquire green energy facility, so that that will enable you to forget about other sources. So again, I also need to mention that when you compare this even to the PACN, you will discover that this is also better than the PACN, because we have made it so easy a product that anybody can access. So for this product, the interest rate is 28%, equity contribution is 10%. It means that if you want a solar system that will fit into your business, so and it's ready made. When you come to Wema Bank today, almost immediately the loan is available for you. Yeah. We look at
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the goodwill messages. Going to have about just 4 of them in 2 minutes each. Then we are. So permit me to invite a father, my father, a grandfather is also my grandfather. He's a socialite. I don't know if he still plays lawn tennis, because he's over 90 now. He's a renowned golf. Yes, if he still plays golf, a renowned Egba man from Bagura. Permit me to call him Baboba. And then he's a fearless, incorruptible judge at that. Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome an international golfer, father to an international judge, who is also Demola Bakri, Honorable Justice Demola Bakri, retired, for his good message.